Hi, Easy here. Welcome to my Tier 1 Gearing Guide video for Lost Ark. We're going to be taking a look at a spreadsheet that I made, which will help you guys get past through the first tier of gearing, which is going to be from 280 to 385 as quickly as possible or as efficiently as possible uh, without too much trouble and without too much looking stuff up everywhere. So I wanted to consolidate a lot of the information that you'll need to get through some of the more annoying parts of accessory gearing and accessory dungeons and some of the content that's available at different item levels as you go through the process of gaining item levels. So let's take a look at the content roadmap. So when you are leveling, when you're gaining item levels, you'll be gaining more and more access to different contents. And it's really hard to see what kind of content you have available and what kind of items that you unlock that are available for purchase to help you gain those item levels. So I've kind of broken up all of the important ones and all of the ones that I recommend, the ones that I don't recommend, as well as all of the Guardian raids, all of the Chaos dungeons, and etc. on every single item level basis, every 5 item levels from 250 all the way to 390. So let's first start off with the content that's available. You're gonna have these yellow Chaos dungeons available at every 20-ish item levels outside of the first Chaos dungeon. So all the way up to 365, you always have a Chaos dungeon available for you to run. You also have Guardian raids available around every 20-ish item levels, give or take. And those will be available at the appropriate item levels. Generally, these aren't too difficult, and they don't have that high of DPS checks, so you don't really need to be too strict with the item level if you guys are running in a static. But if you are finding public parties, then it might be a little bit more difficult to find groups for them unless you meet like +5 item level requirement. So these are simply just the minimum requirements for these rates, not necessarily the indication that you'll always find a group at this item level. I also have some dungeons that you can run, such as Maze of Mirrors, Maze of Shadows, and X301 Secret Base Island dungeon. All of these are just for accessories and gears. So if you are at below item level 300, you can run some of the hard mode dungeons over in Shoeshire to get some gear, but those are generally not that good use of time because they are random and they can drop anywhere between 275 and 300, which means that you'll have to get pretty lucky to get the slot that you want and have it be item level 300 when you could just go around doing chaos dungeons the next day and get it pretty easily for free. Next 3 columns are specifically for accessories. So accessories are a pretty big part of this game, and a lot of people struggle with accessories because Chaos Dungeons will only get you 1 slot for rings and earrings, which means that you'll have to get the other slot through another mean. So your accessories are a necklace, 2 earrings, and 2 rings. So if Chaos Dungeons only give 1 necklace, 1 ring, and 1 earring, you also need to get 1 earring and 1 ring from somewhere else, which is generally through either raids or through accessory maps or through some of the purchasable token exchange merchants that are available for accessories, and all of those are listed right here on the second tab. On the January 2nd patch of 2019, they also did reduce the item requirement for all accessory purchases by 5 item levels. So before, if you were to buy a 285 ring, you had to be 280. So 285, 280, 385, 380. But now it's reduced by 5, which means that you can buy these accessories much earlier, which will increase your gearing speed quite significantly. So at the earlier stages, you have some rings and earrings available for Lupion's tokens. At item level 290, So you want to look at the requirements first, see if you meet them, and then go over and see if something that you want to do. Okay. So at item level item level 290, you can get some earrings, earrings and necklaces from Freedom Island for Blacktooth tokens, but those are generally not recommended because Blacktooth, Mark of the Blacktooth, the tokens are really hard to come by compared to other tokens, and they're also used for other things, so I don't really recommend buying accessories with them, especially when they're just item level 300. But the one that I would recommend are in green and in blue. These are really easy to get, or somewhat comparatively easy to get compared to another accessory like 7 Giants Hearts. My item level 460 Battle Master has 7. Just got the 7th one by diving, so this isn't really something you want to look towards. Same thing with like Heart of the Islands. I have 20 Heart of the Islands and I'm 460. Like there's not many people who even have 43 hearts. So all of these are pretty out of reach. All these red ones are out of reach, but the ones that are in green and blue are definitely ones that you want to look at. So as you go through the item level process, just check this cheat sheet. You can find all of the items that are available for you to purchase, or all the content that's available at the appropriate item levels. So always good to check here. Next up, we have some treasure map explanations. So a lot of people wonder what treasure maps are. There's 2 different types of treasure maps. The one you want to look for is the ones that are tightly scrolled. And I say tightly scrolled because the other ones are loosely scrolled. It's not a very good description, but you'll see what I mean when you look at the picture of the treasure maps. The other scrolls also are required to play a song in order to enter. Those are the gold treasure maps. These are accessory treasure maps. Both of them drop Acrosium, so if you don't need accessories, you can run the gold one for Acrosium if you want. But in general, these accessory maps have a specific rule that it goes by, and it's that you will always drop items within the item level range. So 275 to 300 for rares, 305 to 370 for epics, etc., etc. And the item level that you want to be at, or the minimum eye level, is 5 below whatever the lowest is. There are some maps that you can run earlier. I think the blue maps you can run at a even lower, so around item level 260, I believe. I've had someone below 260 get 265 rings and earrings. So the item level indication isn't really concrete, but generally to be on the safe side, especially if you're trying to invest thousands of gold into treasure maps, try to do the ones that are already indicated by the map. They always drop item levels that are 5 above the item level you're at, rounded down to the nearest fifths. So if you're at item level 354, it'll always drop you items that are 355. If you're item level 355, however, it'll always drop you items that are 360s. So as you can see, breakpoints are pretty important. So try to keep track of your item level and try to make efficient use of your money. If you need an accessory, let's say you're item level 360 and you have an item level 320 ring, then it might be a good idea to invest some treasure maps, especially because these purple maps are only going for around 100 and 150 gold per spot in my server. But you know, these are server specific. Once again, these are server specific, so do be careful with the prices that people are asking. So here's a method that I use to get my Battle Master up to item level 385 in 7 days. You want to use 2 pieces of life gear, and you want to use it to boost your item level up high as possible, and then run Chaos Dungeons at the highest item level you can achieve per day. So by using this method, I was skipping through each tier. So I did every tier of Chaos Dungeon just once, outside of the last one, which I did for 2 days because 385 wall is pretty difficult to break. I invested a lot of time. I invested a lot of gold. This isn't something that you're going to achieve on a regular basis unless you know a lot about the game already. and unless you know a lot about the nitpicky nuances that you can do, such as gaining extra acrosiums per day. I was getting around 10 acrosiums per day, 10 to 12 acrosiums per day, because I know everything that I can do, including quests that they give me acrosium and stuff like that. So it's a long read. I know there's a lot of stuff in it, but every single thing is mostly just tips, mostly for recommendations for, let's say, opponents' dailies and stuff like that. So there's a lot of information here that you can use to get more knowledge on how to gear up faster. All right. Now, gearing up faster isn't really necessarily the best thing you can do, but it's generally what people want because they want to access more content. So it is pretty much what I recommend. And one more thing is the time efficient method. This isn't as long because most of the methods that you would use to gear up, even using time efficient method, is generally the same as the fastest method. But you instead of using life skill gear, you want to use island gear, which makes it so that you spend less time doing extra life skill stuff, which is up to 3 to 4 hours on top of what you're already doing, and you don't use as many accessory maps to supplement your right side slots. So generally the changes are pretty minimal. It's just you're not gonna be gearing up as fast because island gear can only go up to 340 before you have to meet average item level of 340 to upgrade it up to 385. The ones that I recommend are legs and helms because they have 2 rune slots each and they're pretty easy to upgrade compared to the chest, which has 3 rune slots, but it takes hours to farm out the material. So do keep that in mind. Most of this is kind of not as useful for some people, mainly because they're already past 385, but for newer players, I hope this helps you out. I already updated the spreadsheet to indicate the proper item levels for the minimum item level requirement for accessories and stuff like that. So I'll also be keeping this up to date. I'll also have a tier 2 gearing guide coming up pretty soon, now that I'm pretty much through tier 2 basically. So keep your eye out for that. But otherwise, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you guys for checking out the video. This link to the spreadsheet will be in the description, and all of my other guides will also be in the description as well. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.